Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum and hello everyone. In this video, I'm going to talk about GCPV system performance. So, like any generation system, we can never obtain 100% efficiency. So there are always losses that we cannot avoid. So these are a list of the elements or the factors that causes the losses for a grid-connected PV system. So let's have an overview of it. So number 1 and number 2 is the tilt angle and orientation of the solar modules. Okay. This will determine the amount of sunshine that the modules absorb each day. So this is important during the design process or during the resource assessment to make sure that we arrange the modules so that it can receive the most optimum amount of sunshine throughout the year. Okay, but of course, once we fix the solar module at a certain position, then it will have some fluctuation, some differences in the amount of irradiance it receives throughout the day and throughout the year. Okay, so the number 3, the third one is the module temperature. So this is highly dependent on the environment and the installation type as well, whether proper ventilation or not. So we need to calculate the K10. And then irradiance, this is something we cannot control. It's highly dependent on the weather. So we need to factor in this as well. Module mismatch. Okay, when we connect modules in series and in parallel, definitely there will be some fluctuations, some differences, some small differences that will affect the efficiency. And then voltage drop through AC and DC cabling. It's rather small, but it still need to be considered. And then inverter efficiency is the limitation of the inverter itself. Okay. The losses from the inverter. And then the shading factor, so this is something that we may have some level of control. We always try to install our PV modules somewhere clear, where there is no obstruction. So that's why we favor installation on top of the roof. And if there are no taller buildings or taller objects around the roof, then we should have a very good shading factor. Apart from that, dirt on the module, we can control this by periodic maintenance or periodic cleaning from time to time. Okay, so that the module is always clean. Aging factor, again, we cannot control this one. We just need to factor in when we measure. So each year of operation, definitely the system will output will be reduced due to aging, and we need to consider this when we the degradation we need to consider in our year-to-year output calculation. Okay, so the losses mentioned just now is translated into or converted into the rating factors. So the rating factors is represented by the symbol K here, and we have a subscript for each type of losses. So K10 for temperature, the rating factors, Kg for irradiance, the rating factors, for module mismatch, the rating factors, cable, and so on and so on. Some of them we can calculate using the relevant equations. Some of them we assume based on experience. All right. Most of these I have covered in past lectures. So you just need to refer back to the relevant part, and you can ask me later if you have any further questions. Okay. Just on a side note, just as a reminder for aging, we need to refer the aging factor, the rating factor from the module datasheet. If it's not available, then we assume the drop is about 1% per year. Okay, why is system performance important? So when designing a GCPV system, we must provide a reasonable estimate of the energy yield that can be obtained from the system. What would be the annual output that the system can produce? Because a GCPV system, the payment, the amount of money that is generated is dependent on the amount of energy that is produced. So the lower energy, the longer time it takes for you to obtain your initial investment, return of investment. So that this will determine the economic feasibility of the system. Okay. Generally, of course, when somebody invests in something, they want a return of investment as fast as possible, right? So if it takes too long, then it becomes a burden. People might not be interested in investing. Okay, so that's why we need to validate. That's number one. Another important thing is when we have a benchmark. For example, we expect the output to be some value, and if that value is achieved, the return on investment is, for example, 3 years. If when we check the output is lower than what we expected, then we know there's something wrong with our system, and we can do some troubleshooting, some investigation to make sure that we identify what is the source of the problem. Okay, so those are the two main reasons why we conduct a system performance study. So the first thing we want to calculate is the energy yield. Yield is equivalent to the output lah. And it's dependent on these three elements. So the PV array size, the amount of irradiation it receives, and the system efficiency, considering all the losses. Okay, so there's an error here. I need to correct this equation. It's not the losses, it's the efficiency. So this is actually the efficiency. Okay, so efficiency, no, is the system with losses, the output with losses. Okay, so this is what is meant, not the losses, but the output with losses. Okay, so the first variable, the array rated power, is basically the capacity of the installation system. So let's say we install a system 1 megawatt capacity, then that will be our rated system, rated power. The irradiation, the second variable, we determine it to using several resources depending on what is available to us. So for Malaysia, they produce a handbook, SEDA Solar Irradiation Data Handbook, where we can get estimation for a specific location. We can also find the irradiation data from specific software like Meteonom, or we can get from NASA website, or we can get from PV sizing programs like PVSys, Solar Pro, or etc. So here in our lecture, for our case, we are going to use data from Meteonom, which is a software that we have purchased its license. And when we key in, we'll get something like this. Okay, so what we need to do is, when we use the Meteonom software, we put in our coordinates, the latitude, longitude, and the altitude, and so on, and we put in the radiation model that we want. So for this subject, this part here, we just take as the default. Okay, we don't go into details on what are the models that we want to use. It's for a separate, more advanced topic. Okay, we just key in the latitude and longitude, and it produces the output here. And we want to refer to the first column only, which is, if we refer here, HGH is the mean irradiance of global radiation horizontal. Okay, so this global horizontal irradiance, this is the simulated monthly based on the coordinates for Melaka. Alright, so we're going to use this as the irradiation, and then for the efficiency, we're going to need to calculate the losses. Okay, so the first column, okay, just now I showed you. So the annual irradiation is 1660 kilowatt hour per meter squared per year. This one, 1660. So based on this value, the average daily PSH is 1660. We divide by 365 days, so we get 4.55 kilowatt hour per meter squared per day. So what does this mean? Okay, so let's take example of Melaka. So Melaka, we experience about 12 hours of daytime. Okay, our sunrise is about I think now it's about 7:02 a.m. Okay, so maybe I can label it here. Let's say this is 7:02 a.m. And sunset is now it's about 7:18. On the day this video is recorded, it's about this time, 7:18 p.m. local time. So we have about roughly 12 hours, 12 hours and 16 minutes between sunrise and sunset. But of course, the position of the sun changes. So we have a shape like this one. So even though it's 12 hours, the intensity of the sun radiation is not the same throughout the day. So we want to find what is the equivalent. So the equivalent in this case, when we do this division, we get 4.55. That means throughout the day, these 12 hours, it's equivalent to 4.55 hours of 1 kilowatt per meter square. Okay, so this value here, 4.55, is actually 4.55 hours times 1 kilowatt hour per meter square. This is what is meant by this part here. So we have 4.55 hours of sunshine that is equivalent to 1 kilowatt per meter square. So that is why we have this unit here. Actually, we are talking about 4.55 equivalent hours. This is the value of the PSH. Okay. So this is the importance of units. You need to understand what the units mean, so you know how to replace it in the equation. Okay, then apart from the energy yield, we need to calculate the system performance. The specific yield. So the ratio is used to compare the performance of PV systems for different technologies and or different areas. So we divide the total energy that is produced in kilowatt hour with the system's installed capacity kilowatt peak. And then the third one is the performance ratio, which is the system's annual average energy yield divided by the theoretical maximum energy yield. Basically, we want to divide the actual with the ideal. That's the point of performance ratio. Now let's look at the example. So a 500 kilowatt rooftop PV system is installed in UTM Melaka. Okay, the irradiation data and losses is given below. So this is the system performance. Okay, and then this is the irradiation data is example. So calculate the following annual energy yield and so on. So before we calculate, let's look at the table. So this table is similar to the table produced from Meteornom. Okay, we are going to use this table to calculate the irradiation, and this is the loss factor. So loss factor is the derating factor based on what we have. Okay, so now, for example, this one is shading by array and lightning rod, not lightning rod. So 0.998. So this is actually K shade, and then this is the dust. So dirt, dust and dirt is the same, 0.98. Respondence and fluctuation coefficient, and then we have DC cable loss coefficient. So cable loss is 2%, we have 0.98. array load mismatch coefficient, okay, load mismatch, okay, module mismatch KMM, and then power conditional coefficient 0.97, temperature loss coefficient, and then AC cable loss 0.98 as well. And then to get the total system performance here 0.7936, we need to multiply. We need to multiply everything. This one we need to multiply. Multiply. So 0.998 multiply with 0.98 and multiply so on until you get this value 0.7936. So you can verify the calculation afterwards. Okay, so let's do it. Okay. So annual energy yield. So annual energy yield. Annual energy yield. So we have the capacity. So the capacity is 500 kilowatt peak. Okay. And then we multiply by the total irradiation, which is 1646.6361. Okay, the unit is equivalent to hour. We can put as hour. Okay, because remember just now I said it's 1646 hour multiplied by 1 kilowatt per meter square. Okay, and then multiply by the total system performance. Okay, this is the efficiency of the system, 0.7936. Okay, so we have the answer is 653,383, and the unit is kilowatt hour. Okay, now we calculate for March, energy yield for March. So we look at for the month of March, the value is 154.094. So the capacity is 500 multiplied by 154.094 hours multiplied by the same losses 0.79, the same efficiency, 0.7936. so we get 61,144 kilowatt hour. Okay, and then the average daily energy yield. So the average daily energy yield So simply we calculate the annual 653,383 divide by 365. So we have the answer 1,790 kilowatt hour. Okay, and then for the specific yield SY, so we can actually calculate daily or monthly or annually. In this case, I will calculate for annual. So annual calculation, remember the equation is annual average energy yield divided by system installed capacity. So the annual average is 653,383 kilowatt hour divided by the capacity is 500 kilowatt peak. So I get answer is 1306.8. Okay, unit is kilowatt hour per kilowatt peak. Okay, so is this value good? So as a benchmark or as a guideline for Malaysia, the range of the specific yield should be between 1,200 and 1,400. Okay, for Malaysia, this is the range. If your calculation is within this range, then it's normal. If it's higher, then there may be something wrong with your calculation. We need to check back the system. Okay. But it might not necessarily. This is the general range. So we need to do further. So this one, it falls right in the middle, 1,300. So that means the specific yield is as expected. Okay, and then finally, the performance ratio. The performance ratio is, we look back, the system annual average. So again, the PR is equivalent to 653,383. So divide by the theoretical maximum. So theoretical maximum is the ideal. Ideal means without any losses. So that means it's 500 kilowatt peak. Okay, this one is kilowatt hour. Multiplied by 1646. 1646, sorry. 0.631. So what do we have? This one is hour. So hour and hour cancel. Kilowatt and kilowatt also cancel. So we do the calculation, we get 0.7936, which is basically the same as the losses here. In this example, the loss factor is already given, right? So that's why the answer is exactly the same. But in practical application, when we don't know what are the actual losses, we can use the performance ratio to determine the efficiency. Okay, by calculating the actual output from the PV system, we divide by the ideal output that should be generated. If there are no losses, then we'll get the system efficiency, and we can determine the losses. Okay, typically for Malaysia, the range is between 0.75 to roughly 0.85. Okay, in some cases they might go beyond 0.85. It means better, but this is the general range. So what does it mean? If 0.75, that means the system efficiency is at 75%. That means 25% of losses. The overall losses. So if 85, that means 15% of losses. So the higher the value of the performance ratio, that means the better the system is performing. And this is usually a good indicator of the quality of our system output. And this is how we conduct a simple system performance evaluation. So this ends the topic on GCPV system design, and I hope that you can already complete your assignment based on the lectures, the information provided from the past 2 lectures and this lecture here, this video here. Thank you. Again, I open. If there are any questions, don't hesitate to contact me, and I'll try to respond to them as soon as possible. Assalamualaikum and good day.